Welcome to CarbonoEdu, the training platform on climate change mitigation projects and carbon markets for Latin America and the Caribbean. In this video, we will take a quick look at the main carbon standards operating in Latin America and the Caribbean. For a better understanding of this video, you should understand what climate change is, what climate change mitigation mechanisms are, which are the sectors that contribute to climate change, what voluntary and compliance carbon markets are, and what a carbon credit is. If you do not understand any of these topics, we recommend you take the corresponding module. What are the voluntary carbon standards? With countries and companies setting ambitious climate goals worldwide, voluntary carbon markets are growing tremendously. It is projected that over 2 billion tons of carbon credits will need to be supplied annually by 2050 to meet demand. To be precise, when talking about carbon credits, they are conveniently called carbon credits because of the carbon contained in CO2, but these credits are also related to other greenhouse gases. Trading of carbon offsets happens both in the compliance carbon market, regulated by the government, and the voluntary carbon market. Buyers in regulated markets can rely on the rules defined by the regulations to ensure credit quality. On the other hand, many buyers are companies that have set voluntary emissions targets and want to use carbon credits to offset their emissions. But how can buyers in the voluntary carbon market ensure the carbon credits they purchase deliver real, permanent emissions reductions and provide social and environmental benefits? Buyers do not want to purchase just any carbon credits. Like most people, they want to know what they are buying. Buyers focus on purchasing carbon credits that have been well vetted and are created by projects that have been independently verified to reduce or remove the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that the project developers claim. Certification of the carbon credits and underlying projects gives buyers comfort that the carbon credits purchased are credible and increases the price buyers are willing to pay developers for these credits. The voluntary carbon market is currently unregulated. This has led to an abundance of low-quality carbon projects with questionable real-world impact, negating the value of the voluntary carbon market as a system for financing climate solutions. So, organizations have come about in the absence of regulation, working to safeguard the quality of carbon credits sold on the voluntary carbon market by creating standardized programs known as carbon standards. Each carbon standard has criteria for evaluating projects that wish to certify carbon credits and its methodologies for testing the underlying projects against those criteria. There are more than 50 different carbon standards. With so many standards, it isn't easy to understand their differences and similarities, especially in choosing which is best for a particular project. Carbon standards cover various critical processes for verifying carbon credits. Let's take a quick look at the main ones. Developing methodologies. Carbon standards develop methodologies for different types of carbon projects, detailing how the carbon benefit, emissions avoided, or carbon removed should be quantified in that project type to determine how many carbon credits should be issued. All well-established types of carbon projects, such as forestry, biochar, renewables, waste management, land management, clean energy, etc., have access to verified methodologies through a carbon standard. So, you would expect carbon projects of these types to have been audited and certified by a carbon standard. If they haven't been, it's a big red flag for the quality of the project, as it indicates they have not followed an approved methodology. The methodology is vital in ensuring high-quality carbon projects. If a project overestimates its carbon benefit through inaccurate calculations, it could lead to carbon credits being issued above and beyond the project's actual impact. Third-party auditing and certifying carbon projects. Carbon standards certify individual carbon projects, checking their approach against their verified methodology for that project, type to ensure the project's approach is in line with best practices, that they have adequately quantified their carbon benefit, and that there are no negative consequences of the project, e.g., to local communities. Typically, Carbon projects will be audited by the internal staff team of the Carbon Standard and by an independent third party, issuing and retiring carbon credits. Carbon standards organizations also facilitate buying and selling carbon credits for the projects they certify. Often, carbon standards host their carbon registry, a system through which carbon credits are issued, sold, and retired. This ensures all carbon credit purchases are tracked, fully traceable, and publicly available, avoiding double counting. So, if a carbon standard has its registry, it will manage the credits for the carbon projects it certifies within that registry. An example of this is the Verra registry. Not all carbon standards host their registries. Some use standalone, independent registries. For instance, all carbon credits for projects certified by Gold Standard are retired on the IHS Market Registry, an independent establishment. Let's quickly look at some of the leading voluntary carbon standards and programs. Verra, founded in 2005 under the name of Voluntary Carbon Standard, Verra is now a nonprofit organization that operates various standards and programs to promote sustainable development and address environmental challenges. One of the standards operated by Verra is the Verified Carbon Standard. The Verified Carbon Standard is the world's most widely used greenhouse gas crediting program. The standard allows projects worldwide to register and verify greenhouse gas emission reductions through independent third-party auditors in many economic sectors. VCS has detailed requirements for validation, monitoring, verification, and issuance of credits and labels. The credits it issues as verified carbon units. Since its launch, VCS has registered over 2,100 carbon projects that have reduced or removed 1.2 billion tons of carbon and other atmospheric GHG emissions. Verra sectors and methodologies. Verra has more than 40 methodologies in the following sectors: energy demand, manufacturing industries, construction transport, mining, mineral production, fugitive emissions from fuels, fugitive emissions from industrial gases, waste handling and disposal agriculture, forestry, land use, livestock, and manure management. In addition, projects seeking registration in the VCS program that comply with all VCS program rules may use selected methodologies from other approved GHG programs, including Clean Development Mechanism, methodologies, and Climate Action Reserve protocols. In addition to VCS, Verra also manages the jurisdictional and nested REDD Plus framework, the climate, the community, and biodiversity standards, the plastic waste reduction standard, and, launched recently, the Sustainable Development Verified Impact Standard for assessing Sustainable Development Goals contributions. Gold Standard. The Gold Standard is a voluntary carbon offset program that is unique from others. Unlike Verra and others, it puts the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals front and center when certifying offset projects. GS was developed with the leadership of the World Wildlife Fund, Helio International, and South-South North. It focuses on offset projects that provide lasting social, economic, and environmental benefits. Gold Standard has certified over 3,400 projects in more than 100 countries, representing more than 304 million tons of CO2 removed and $46 billion of shared value created. Gold Standard has been the benchmark standard for carbon offsets since 2003. Its stringent certification requirements and monitoring procedures ensure certified projects contributed to the United Nations. Sustainable development goals like climate action, clean water, and poverty reduction. Only the highest quality projects are awarded Gold Standard certification. Gold Standard also retires credits on behalf of buyers to claim carbon neutrality. Corporations like Google, Microsoft, and Swiss Re have relied on Gold Standard for their carbon-neutral programs. Gold Standard sectors and methodologies. Gold Standard has more than 30 methodologies related to the Sustainable Development Goals, but not all are related to climate change mitigation. They are classified into the following sectors: land use, forestry and agriculture, energy efficiency, fuel switch, renewable energy, waste management and disposal, energy efficiency, shipping water benefits, carbon dioxide removal, sustainable transport solutions. Gold Standard also accepts using 171 clean development methodologies under its standard. Climate Action Reserve began in 2001 as the California Climate Action Registry. Its mission is to encourage companies and other organizations to measure, manage, and reduce GHG emissions. Offset projects registered with the reserve support environmental and community co-benefits, often reducing local air pollution, restoring habitat and ecosystems, spurring growth in new green technologies, and allowing emission reduction goals to be met at a lower cost. As a high-quality offset registry for voluntary carbon markets, it establishes rigorous standards involving multi-sector stakeholder work group development and local engagement and issues carbon credits in a transparent and publicly available system. Unlike the other standards presented here, the organization supports compliance with carbon markets in California, Washington, and internationally. Climate Action Reserve has registered over 240 projects that have reduced or removed 88 million tons of carbon and other atmospheric GHG emissions. Climate Action Reserve sectors and methodologies. Climate reserve tons are developed and quantified using project protocols, called methodologies in other standards. Adherence to these standards ensures emissions reductions are real, additional, and permanent. Climate Action Reserve has near to 30 methodologies, classified in the following sectors: natural climate solutions, waste handling and methane destruction, industrial processes, and gases. Plan Vivo emphasizes community-focused projects that provide payments and livelihood benefits to smallholders and rural communities, while also generating verified emissions reductions. Since 1997, Plan Vivo has worked with over 100,000 people across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Plan Vivo projects follow detailed technical specifications tailored to local contexts. They drive sustainable livelihoods through activities like agroforestry, forest conservation, and clean cook stoves. Plan Vivo has also piloted innovative finance models like local climate finance. Plan Vivo has registered 28 projects that have reduced or removed 10 million tons of carbon and other GHG emissions from the atmosphere. Plan Vivo, sectors, and methodologies. In relation to carbon markets, Plan Vivo only works with smallholder agriculture and community forestry projects and has only one approved methodology that can be used in the generation of Plan Vivo certificates. American Carbon Registry. American Carbon Registry was founded in 1996 under the name of Environmental Resources Trust as the first private voluntary greenhouse gases registry in the world, and got its current name of American Carbon Registry in 2008. Thus, it has a quarter-century of expertise in ensuring carbon credit quality and a proven track record in innovation and continuous improvement for compliance and voluntary carbon markets at the global level. ICAO also approves the American Carbon Registry to supply credits for CORSIA carbon neutrality in aviation. It has registered over 700 projects in 12 countries that have reduced or removed more than 270 million tons of carbon and other atmospheric GHG emissions. American Carbon Registry sectors and methodologies. American Carbon Registry has 17 active methodologies, but also accepts CDM methodologies, so it covers the following sectors: agricultural land management, carbon capture and storage, coal mine methane energy efficiency forest carbon, fuel switching industrial gas substitution, industrial process, emissions landfill, gas capture combustion, livestock, waste management, ozone, depleting substances, renewable energy transport, fleet efficiency, wastewater treatment, wetland, restoration, other standards relevant to the region. Other, relatively new standards exist in the region, such as Carbono and Biocarbon Registry. We will not detail them in this video, but you can find information about them in the other documentation of this module. We invite you to consult it. We hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching this video. You can find more videos like this and much more learning material on CarbonoEdu, the training platform on climate change mitigation projects and carbon markets for Latin America and the Caribbean.